Hi everyone, and welcome to another 3D printer upgrade video. And in this one you can see on the picture in front of you that we had a bit of a mishap with the part cooling fan nozzle, and it's broken off of its shroud on the front of the extruder assembly there. So we're going to make a new one as a replacement, see what we can do to upgrade it. So we're going to head over to Fusion 360 now and get cracking. Okay, so here we are in Fusion 360, and this is not a particularly difficult model to make because we can take the measurements off the existing shroud and essentially copy that. We can copy the same nozzle and we can add a bit of reinforcement also to the side there, so we can tie that nozzle back up to the front plate, which will give it additional strength. So once we've completed that, we can now head over to the 3D printer itself and hopefully get that printed out, even though we haven't got any part cooling. So we got that part printed out and we've bolted it to the front of the extruder assembly. You can see that there, and that's got us back up and running. However, I wasn't really satisfied with this solution because those fans where you've got the kind of duct in the bottom left hand corner there make an awful racket. The bearings in them are pretty useless, to be quite honest, and they make a hell of a noise, and not very good if you've got your printer on an indoor environment. So what I figured I'd do is try to redesign that shroud and assembly there so it can take the same fan that you can see cooling the actual extruder and stepper motor down on the left hand side of the extruder, and that will also mean that A, it'll be quiet, and B, it means that I've got commonality of parts, so that if I ever need to order a fan, it's always the same one, no matter whether it's the part cooler or the extruder cooler. So let's head over to Fusion 360 again and get another design underway. So here we are in Fusion 360, and we'll start immediately with a sketch. Now this is just going to be a replica, if you like, of the plate that the fan holder or mount will fit to. So we've got our two holes, existing holes here, and the size of that plate. Extrude that out. Then we're going to put a construction plane in at an angle to this edge here, and that looks about right essentially for where the fan's going to mount to. We'll draw a sketch which will have the outline of the fan and the mounting hole positions, and also of course the main hole. Now as that would conflict with this mounting hole here, we're just going to move this plate up a bit, and also we're going to put the exit, if you like, of the first cone shape on a sketch off of this plane here. Then we'll just use a loft which will extrude from this large shape here to this one at the bottom. Just start switching some of this stuff off so we can see it better. Then we'll do another loft just from the circle down to this kind of horseshoe shape here, and use that to cut essentially the hole where the air will funnel down towards this end here. Then I'll extrude the sketch the other way, and that's just going to provide somewhere where we can get a thread into and we can actually mount the fan onto this. I'm going to put a small sketch for a triangle here and fill in that gap there. I'll just simplify printing a little bit. Then we've got another plane which is going to be 20mm from this back face here, because we want the exit, if you like, where the air comes out, to be 20mm back from this edge or face here and 20mm down from the lower edge. I'm going to draw a small sketch, and again a loft from this shape here to this sketch here, and another one to hollow it out. Then we're going to extrude out a little way, put an end cap on, and then hollow that out. Going to put a bit of a fillet in to round it off. That might help it not crash into something if something goes wrong. Then we're going to put a sketch on the bottom, just this small rectangle here. Extrude that up into the cavity, and that becomes our exit for the air. Bit of filleting just to round a few of the sharp corners off. Combine this all into one model shape or one body. Another bit of filleting, and then some M3 threads modelled into these holes here so we can screw the fan on. And if I just tidy this up by switching all the sketches off and the planes, and we'll just colour it. So plastic, I use opaque, and as ever with all my upgrades on my printer, they're blue. Lovely. Right, we can get that over to Cura and slice that up and get that printed out. Okay, now we've got that printed out, all we need to do is mount that and replace the old fan and shroud unit with the new shroud and a 40 by 10mm fan, which is the same as the other one on the extruder, and we're pretty much done. And the noisiest thing now on the 3D printer are the stepper motors and occasionally the PSU fan, which cuts in when that gets a little warm, and doesn't do that very often actually, because I've upgraded that to a 600 watt power supply rather than the original 300 watt power supply. So as ever, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.